Hey guys, this is a video of this GE Home Sentry smoke detector. This is the 8202-201. It was one of the hardwired models, as you can clearly see from the wiring on the back. And this one was made in probably the 70s, the mid to late 70s. I'm not quite sure when, considering there's no date on it. But this model was, of course, one of the earlier ones with the larger square design, as opposed to the later models like this, which were the smaller, more compact rectangular design. So this one, there were two versions of actually there were three versions of the hardwired ones. Well, there might have been four, but as far as I know there were three. There was this model, the 8202-201, and there was another model, the 8205-0, which was similar to this. And then there was a model that was line cord powered. It was just basically the same thing, and it was line cord powered. The only difference between the 8202 and the 8205, I think, were the insides and the circuitry. I don't know if they made a line cord model for both those, and I don't know the model number of the line cord model. I just know that there was a line cord model, possibly two line cord models. I don't know. So as you can see, it looks very similar to the battery-powered versions. In fact, I've got a battery-powered version right here. This is a 12.6 volt model, 8201-201. As you can see, it looks very similar. You might notice this one, of course, is more yellowed because this one was used, this one was new in box. You might notice this little circle down here, and that's actually a power indicator LED. Or that's a lens for the power indicator LED, which is right underneath of it. As you can see, the LED is glowing. It's glowing constantly rather than flashing repeatedly, as most hardwired smoke alarms of today, and even smoke alarms of the past did. But this one's on constantly, which is unusual. And then, of course, you can see this one has no little indicator LED because this one's battery powered. Take a look at the back of it. Of course, the back is quite different as well because this one's set up to mount on a junction box. I don't know if the line cord model had like a hanger on it for just like hanging it on the wall. I really don't know. And then these three screws, the three bolts back here for holding the circuitry on. There's a sticker that says Made in Ireland, because these were made in Ireland. And then on the side of the base right there is the UL sticker. So yeah. And then, of course, the back of the 12.6 volt model is similar, just a little different. It's got Made in Ireland molded into the cover, or molded into the base, not the cover. And then, of course, there's where the screw hole for the horn, this screw right here, is for the horn. And then there's a screw hole in here that would be for the horn if the horn mounted to the base. So now I'll open it up and take a look at the inside. Now you'll notice that when I open it up, the LED goes out. That's because there's a cover interlock on here, similar to the Honeywell smoke alarms like the TC49A and the TC49D. There's two little tabs here, and there's a little tab right there, and when the cover is closed, the tab on the cover comes down and makes contact with those two tabs that you see right here. And so when I shut the cover, you see the LED came back on. You can see it, and when I open it up, the LED goes back out. So here's the inside. As you can see, it has a different sensor and a different horn to the 12.6 volt battery model. Let me open that one up for you. Now, there was a version of the 12.6 volt model that had this exact same sensor and this exact same horn, but this one isn't one of those. So as you can see, I think this is a later model of the 8201-201. This one's got the sensor with the multiple round holes as opposed to the triple slot sensor that we're all used to seeing. That's the one with the three large slots on the side. And I think this one's later because the smaller, later version also has that same sensor. So That's why I think that this one was later. There was a model, like I said, that had this sensor, but I think that one was the earlier one. And the horn is also different. This one's got the Edwards horn in it. You know, just like my TC89B 1018 and my TC49A 1195. And I don't think it's the same model, though, because this one's 12 volt DC. The one in my TC89B, at least, is 9 volt DC, so I don't think it's the same model. It does sound a bit similar, though, a little bit lower pitched, and I'll let you hear that in a minute. And then right here's the transformer, of course, because this runs off of a low voltage, and it needs the transformer to power it down. That's why it doesn't have the AC vibrating horn. It has a DC squealer horn. So that's very unusual for a smoke alarm to have a transformer and a DC squealer horn. Most of the ones, like the Fire X's and what else? The Fire X's, the old Gentix's, Smoke Guards. I know there are more. The Lifesavers, like the 1200 that I have. There are more, I know. Oh yeah, and the Security Engineering Smoke Master, that's another one that doesn't have a transformer. And then of course the BRK 1769 ACI and the 1839 ACI as well. So those are just a few ones that don't use a transformer, that are they're run off of straight 120 volt AC. This one uses the transformer. Whoa, and the cover came off. Okay. Let's put that back on. Okay, this one uses a transformer, and that's very unusual for a smoke alarm like this to use a transformer and a DC squealer horn. Like, I think there are some others that were like this, like the TC49A, that's one of them, and the TC49D. Of course, this one, and there's one that's very old, the Tempasonic smoke alarms. They had a transformer in them, and also like the Vulcan Autosonic that I have, that one has a transformer as well. So there are a few of them. Not many, but there are a few. Oh, and the Early Guard EGD4IR. That's one that Enland has. So, yeah, there are a few of them. You'll notice that the horn, of course, is unlike the battery model, which has the black star horn, which is what these commonly had. Like I said, there was an earlier version that had the Edwards horn. And, yeah, I think that was earlier, at least. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, yeah. The circuit board's a lot bigger. I think that's to accommodate for all the extra circuitry for the transformer and everything. Oh, and another thing. The sensor, this one, as you all know, the later models with the triple slot sensor contain 2 microcuries of americium-241. It says it right there. Contains americium-241, 2 microcuries, and then of course the 8201-401C here says on the back contains radioactive material, 2 microcuries. So 2 microcuries in these two, but on this one actually contains 3 microcuries. It says right there, americium-241 contains 3 microcuries, so I thought that was kind of interesting. Of course, it's got, the red test button on top, like, these all had that. And then on the inside of the cover are the labels. And once again, there's that tab that I was talking about, and there's the lens for the LED. It says General Electric Smoke Alarm Model 8202, 120 volts, 60 hertz, 5 watts, Bridgeport, Connecticut, made in Ireland, of course. Instructions: red signal light in cover indicates unit is energized. If light is off, check your house fuses. Opening cover turns alarm and red light off. Test each week by depressing test button for a few seconds. Alarm should sound indicating unit is operational. Alarm should sound... Wait, I just repeated the same line. Holes in aluminum smoke chamber should be kept free of dust. If necessary to clean, avoid getting dirt inside chamber or damaging surrounding components. Disconnect power by removing fuse or turning circuit breaker off for installation and removal of unit. To remove unit, take out the 2 screws that mount unit to junction box, then separate the plug connector behind unit to disconnect from power line. Refer to use and care booklet for installation and instructions. Do not paint unit. And then Caution, contains radioactive material, Americium 241, returned to GE Service Center for repair or disposal. And then, of course, there's the horn output holes. So, of course, I don't have the manual because this one was used. And now, close the cover up. The LED should come back on, and it does. It sometimes chirps when you close the cover. I actually had that powered up last night. I was closing the cover, and it chirped at me, so that was unusual. Now, I can't test the battery model to compare the sounds because it's 12.6 volt model, and of course the 12.6 volt battery is not made anymore. I can test the 8201-401C though. I mean, I don't know why I would, because I got a battery in this one right now. So let's go ahead and test the 8202-201 here. It takes a minute. And as you can hear, it sounds similar to my TC49A, although it doesn't have that modulation. This one sounds, I think this one may be rectified actually, because the reason why the TC49A has that modulation in it is because it's not rectified. It's running a DC horn off of an AC voltage. So that's really unusual. And test it once more. I want to see if the LED does anything, if it goes out. Well, the LED does dim a little bit, but it doesn't really go out or anything. So now, let's open up the cover. Oh, I was going to say test it without the cover on, but then I remembered that because of the interlock there. Actually, hang on a second. Let's try something. Oh, that didn't work. See, it chirps when you put the thing back on sometimes. Oh, that didn't work. Okay. I'm trying to, I got this to work yesterday. Why isn't it working now? Oh, come on. Come on. Go. There. Let's test it without the cover on now. Well, that didn't work. That did not sound good. Okay. I wish I could find my red pocket knife, honestly. Oh my god. Okay, there. I guess it doesn't like it when you test it without the cover. Oh, and there goes the cover again. Huh. Okay, well, let's try it with the cover on once more. Thought I broke it for a second. Anyway, here we go. Okay, and as you can hear, it has that ting. That's what I call the ting after it, like when it stops sounding. I guess we can test the 8201-401C just because. Of course, that one's got the piezo horn, and then this one sounds very different. You can actually, in my video of the Pyrotronics or the Heath kit by Pyrotector, not Pyrotronics. The Pyrotector Heath kit sounds the exact same as that one. So that's what that one would sound like. But anyway, I think that's about it for the GE Home Sentry 8202-201. Thanks for watching.